setting, the Neolithic setting at the copper time in this area. We need better survey in this area to learn more about the archaeological situation. And we have started now, because we have severe doubts on this shepherd theory, with new analyses concerning this high alpine pasture. And we are doing pollen analysis in the Schneis Valley in detailed way to answer precisely the question whether these side valleys at that time were already peopled or not. And if we have an answer that we have here settlements in there, this gives us then an additional and more closer view about the whole situation, what happened up there on the Thyssen-Joch. Because on the discussion are only a few speculations. You can count on one or two hands, but I can think at least of several more what could have happened up there. And most probably, when we know more about the archaeological situation in this area, we can get another view on the incidents happened up there 3300 BC.
Non va. Buongiorno, io vorrei sapere se è vero che l'uomo dei ghiacci aveva un parassita intestinale e che lo curava con un tipo di fungo altamente velenoso che però lui sapeva calibrare nelle dosi e sapeva curarsi. E dove si procurava questo tipo di fungo? Grazie.
Well, he had a parasite, the human whipworm, which I showed. The infestation was quite severe. We can calculate this. So there were around about 10,000 eggs per gram of ingesta in this case, and this is a heavy infestation, what we had there. So usually, I have to say, this endoparasite was part of nearly the complete population. I have investigations from Bronze Age people and Iron Age people, and they have so many intestinal parasites you can't imagine. So the findings from the Iceman and having only this trichuris was for me a surprise. So it's quite good hygiene situations he lived in. What does this parasite cause? In the extreme, dyspepsia, diarrhea, and nothing more. So to handle this, mainly they used ferns, because it's quite complicated. These are nematodes, and you have to kill these nematodes in different ways. Usually you paralyze the muscles, so they are transported then to the rectum, and then you need to get a laxative so that they get out. This is usually done by ferns, and what we have found is that he has bracken with him. Bracken is no more used against these parasites, against endoparasites, but around about 100 years ago they still did. They used all kind of ferns because they couldn't separate it in these ways, and therefore they used it. Probably it could have been a remedy against it. We have checked this also. We made some correlations concerning these, and these bracken spores and the trichuris eggs, they correlate quite well. So this could be one possible explanation. But overall, I assume they were much more used to these infestations than we are nowadays. So there was no need for him to do anything against it. According to the fungi, there is no fungi found which is severely poisonous that they could kill these parasites.
Salve, anni fa sono stato a Bolzano a vedere il museo di Ozzi e sono stato impressionato dalla quantità di attrezzi, dalla complessità dei suoi vestiti e mi chiedo come mai, se effettivamente sia stato ucciso nel luogo in cui è stato trovato, l'assassino non abbia rubato tutte le sue cose, depredato, dato che penso ai tempi la ricchezza personale consistesse proprio nelle cose che uno si portava dietro. Quindi magari vorrei testare la teoria che fosse stato ucciso proprio sul luogo del ritrovamento. Grazie.
I completely agree. If we compare this, if you are traveling with a Rolls Royce along the countryside and you have a hold-up and you are killed and the robbers leave the Rolls Royce behind, this is really amazing. And so therefore I am puzzled in the same way like you are. I have no explanation for this, because the axe, at least the blade, is of really important value at that time. And at least nowadays, if we take this comparison, if you have the Rolls Royce, you have the engine number at least, and you can identify to whom belonged this. But if you have this blade, you just take the copper, remelt it, and reuse it again, and nobody will recognize it in this case. So it's really a very open questions concerning this, that so much value in this case has been left up there. And on the other hand, you have to see, if we are talking really about a crime scene in this case, what has the Iceman, or what had this person to defend himself? It was only the axe. All the other things are made very roughly, very quick, and all his arms are almost unfinished. He can't use the bow, he can't use most of the arrows. And the other arrows he had in his quivers, they were broken. So it's quite strange that you have a person who cannot defend himself on a bigger distance in this case, because if he has an axe, he can go into an infight, for instance. But this person couldn't have defended himself in this case. Why did he have then an additional bow with him as one of these extra tires?
There is absolutely no doubt that he was killed on the scene. So, because you said initially that somebody thought he was killed by hypothermia, and
Yes.
it was probably doubts that he actually bled to death on the spot where they found him.
No, the thing is, I've discussed it seriously with the medicinists in this case, because they were just thinking of it. If you have a fissure in the arteria axillaris, the arteria axillaris is an important arteria, and the arteria is always in tension. So if this is attacked or hurt in this case, you always have a severe bleeding. And it's easily for everybody to make a short calculation, because just bear in mind, if you are going skiing and you're breaking your leg, you're having a bleeding into your tissue. And usually you don't recognize, or you recognize that you have a broken bone, that you faint. And this is due to this bleeding. So if you have such